What's up, everyone? This is Fane Sasher VA here, coming at you with a new video. And of course, welcome to Vindictum's Cantina. This is actually going to be the first video on my Stars channel. So I
Oh,
figured
so
I would.
that's the surprise you was talking about.
Yep, surprise.
Oh, dear lord.
So that's why I have two separate intros, because obviously, this video is going to go up on both channels, because I got to promote the new channel with this video being on there. So it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to making Star Wars content. I know that there's going to be a lot of discourse surrounding my opinions because of how the Star Wars fandom is. So I'm hoping I can come out of it unscathed. I doubt it, but I'm just going to go into this with a positive mind and have some fun. So today's video is going to be about Andor, which makes sense because it is the current Star Wars project, and I
Yep.
have and this is not a full-on review of episode 4, 5, and 6, which was amazing. All three episodes, I think, honestly,
There's some
um,
crazy stuff going on.
yeah, and there's definitely tension amongst Luthen's rebel cell. Um, and just seeing how the ISB is like trying to deal with these, rebels and all that. Of course, this isn't the proper Rebel Alliance that we know it, of course, from what we see from the original trilogy, and of course from Rebels, because we do see a little bit of organization there.
Yep.
Um, this Rebel Alliance uses a lot of guerrilla warfare, infiltration, stuff like that.
It uses a lot of cool stuff.
Well, also too, they also have to fight dirty at times too, because they have
Yeah,
to
that
out
too. Yeah.
because compared to the Empire at this point, not many rebel members have the typical stuff that we associate them with. Granted, keep in mind this is just one rebel cell. As I mentioned before, there are many other rebel cells out there. Um, there's
I'm trying to.
Saul
Yeah, Saw Gerrera's.
rebel cell. There's the Phoenix Squadron, with the AKA the Rebels crew from Star Wars Rebels. They're out there doing their thing at this point. Um, so yeah, like I said, these three episodes were absolutely amazing. However, this is not what the video is about. I want to discuss something that might be considered a bit of a hot take amongst Star Wars fans, considering the fact that Andor is a very popular show. A lot of people love it. A lot of people believe that this should be how Star Wars should be moving
Oh,
forward.
yeah.
So I have my own opinions about it. I'm sure my lovely co-host, Mizuki Rivendell, aka my Sith apprentice.
Ha.
Um, so my biggest takeaway from the Andor fan base is that they really eat up all the small nuanced details, even stuff that I missed. Perfect example, in episode 3, there's these certain wordings in there that says that Luthen is going to take out Mon's friend Tay,
Oh, yeah, me and you both missed that.
because of something that Luthen said about how that it's not something that you have to deal with. Um, However, the one thing that I disagree with them on, and this is going to go into another point, but I'll be getting to that, is how they believe that this is how Star Wars should be moving forward, and I 100% disagree.
I also
Why?
disagree on that as well.
When it comes to a show like Andor, to where it is a spy drama. You know, it is a lot of, character development. You know, when you have a show that is being driven by its characters like this, yes, Andor works. And my biggest thing is that when it comes to Star Wars, I'm not gonna say I'm a traditionalist. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say that I want every single Star Wars property to be like A New Hope, Empire, Return of the Jedi, The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith. Like I'm not gonna be one of those people that's gonna be like, I want George Lucas Star Wars. Because the thing is that even during George Lucas's era, there's these certain things that came out that was different than what he would have done.
This is true.
Look at the books during his time. He wouldn't have had Luke get married. However, that's one of those cases where the fan base disagrees. A lot of us, most Star Wars fans, love Mara Jade.
Yush.
We love the connection between Luke and Mara Jade. I mean, to many people, the heir to the Empire series of books is the true definitive sequel trilogy, and I kind of believe that as well. Again, I do like some concepts from the sequel trilogy. I actually do like Episode 7 a lot, but the other two movies, no. And I will get to that in a different video. Again, I don't want
Yeah,
to make
you
this
will.
channel. I don't want to make this. I don't want to make my Star Wars channel to be all negative and doom and gloom. We have that enough in the fan base.
Oh, yeah.
Will I offer my opinions? Yes. Anyways, getting back to the topic of the video here, is that I have always believed that Star Wars can literally be anything. Why? Because it has a lot of DNA in it. It has a lot of Western characteristics. Why? Because of Han Solo, Boba Fett, bounty hunters in general.
This is
Especially
very
when you,
true. It does, especially with Cad Bane.
I mean, Cad, exactly, Cad Bane is like the perfect, big, spotlight on the whole like Western movies being the big influence on Star Wars.
Ew.
Um, and Boba Fett, when he walks, you can hear spurs, which was actually how people figured out that
That's cool,
that
though.
that's actually how people figured out that the mysterious person that saved, um, forgot her name. It's the female chick,
I know who it is. I
Fennec
forgot.
Shan.
Yeah,
Fennec Shan.
Fennec.
Um, that's why people figured out that it was Boba that saved her.
Because of the. That's
Spurs.
cool.
Um, even how Boba Fett holds his weapon is very Western-esque. So the there's a lot of Japanese influence, right? I mean, we have giant monsters. I mean, the freaking Zillo Beast from Clone Wars is pretty much a Godzilla giant monster kaiju movie ripoff. Right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
There's a lot of Seven Samurai influence. Why? Because George Lucas loved Akira Kurosawa. There's a lot of drama because Star Wars is a space opera. Translation, it's basically my version of soap operas.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Except for you don't have that random thing in soap operas where somebody dies and then they're somehow just back.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I get death is every time. Well, I mean, Maul kind of pulled that a little bit.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. So I know Star Wars that any genre can work. I mean, there's freaking horror novels. There's Red Harvest, and then there's Death Troopers.
You've
So
told me a
Star,
little bit about the Death Troopers. That nah.
just so people, just so people that don't know what Death Troopers are, I'm not talking about the Stormtrooper variant that debuted in Rogue One. I'm talking about the book, the horror novel book that deals with pretty much a zombie apocalypse breaking out. Well, a zombie outbreak breaking out on this little Star Destroyer. Bada bing, bada boom. That's pretty
Yeah,
much the plot.
that's pretty much it.
Um, the virus is called the Black Shadow virus. If any of you has ever heard of it, look it up. It's some crazy stuff, and I do plan on reading that book eventually. Um, so makes sense. People love Star Wars. People love zombies. Mash the two together.
And you have the perfect little book.
I mean, we see pretty much. I mean, we see pretty much zombies in Clone Wars. We have the reanimated Dathomirian witches when the Separatists attacked, and
Oh
then we
yeah,
have
I forgot about that.
the Geonosian bugs. Um, from that one Clone Wars episode.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So Star Wars can work. So like I said, Star Wars can work with any genre. But for these people to say that Andor could be the way Star Wars should go moving forward, I disagree.
I also
One,
disagree with that.
here's the thing: a lot of the biggest pros that people give the show is that, oh well, there's no lightsabers, there's no first users, there's no pointless cameos. Well, I hate to break it to you, even though the Andor is mainly about the Empire and the Rebel Alliance, underneath it, it is still about the war between the Jedi and the Sith.
Yep.
Because who runs the Empire?
Palpatine.
Darth Sidious, aka Emperor Palpatine. So the Sith is still very much a part of the story.
This is true. Very, very true.
And and just because you don't see Vader, just because you don't see Palpatine so far, you can still feel their presence in the show without them being in it. You know they are around. You know they're somewhere. We have a lot of references of Palpatine. But for people to be like, oh well, we don't see no Jedi, we don't see no Sith, again, underneath the plot of Andor, it's still the conflict between the Jedi and the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, the Galactic Civil War is just a extension of the Clone Wars. Let me just put it to you in real world context. The Clone Wars would be basically World War One. The Galactic Civil War would be World War Two. The reason why I word it like that is because a lot of the imagery of the Empire and a lot of their beliefs comes from the Germans from World War Two. I can't
Yeah.
say the N word
Yeah,
because of YouTube.
because YouTube does not like it when you say that word. Neither does Twitch.
Yeah, I'm talking about the word that rhymes with Yahtzee.
Or paparazzi.
Um, so, and the pointless cameos, it's like, how is it pointless if it can fit the show? If they can find a way to work Vader and Palpatine in and make it meaningful,
It's not
why not?
pointless. I
It's
mean,
pointless if you. Go on.
look what they did with Anakin in the Ahsoka series.
And there are people that say that was a cameo. That was fan service. No, it's not.
No, it's not. He fits the story.
He's a Force ghost. He's gonna pop up. He's gonna want to try to fix things with Ahsoka.
And Tester.
Well, despite that, he's gonna want to make her realize that she's very much capable of falling to the dark side as much as he was. The difference is that you know let me let me let me reword that, make it make sense. Anakin showed up to teach her that she needs to accept how she was trained and how things ended up. She does not need to be afraid of falling to the dark side. And that is why you see her, even though that she claims that she was open, there's a point that Ahsoka says that, when Anakin says that you're part of a legacy, Ahsoka replies with, "Yes, but that legacy is lined with death and destruction." And then Anakin fully figures out what she was talking about and gets annoyed and goes, "You are nothing. I gave you a choice, Ahsoka. Red lightsaber ignites."
Ew.
Anakin instantly figured out that she was still holding on to the fact of him becoming a Vader. So what does he do? He taps into his dark side. She wanted Vader so badly, he was going to give it to her. And that was the point. The point was to not be afraid of her inner darkness. That was the point of the test. The point of it is also so this way she can live or die. It perfectly fit with the story. It was not fan service.
Nope, it fit perfectly in. Which I can't wait for season 2.
At the end of the day, Star Wars is still about him, whether people want to acknowledge it or not. Now, does Andor feel like Star Wars? At times, yes. Other times, no.
No.
Especially when you have a lot of our real life, when like something feels a little bit too close to our world. Because one, that's not what George Lucas wanted. He didn't want there to be cereal that looks like freaking Captain Crunch that Cyril's been eating. You know, he always wanted Star Wars to be, again, a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
Something, something that can't exist here. Now, again, I know that, you know, that I know that the Andor fan base is very popular, is very passionate. What you guys need to understand is that someone can like the show, but disagree. It feels like Star Wars.
This is true. Very, very true.
Now, has season two improved on it feeling more like Star Wars? Of course. But again, the reason why it doesn't is because this show isn't focused on world building or focused on, we all seen the episodes 1 through 6 of the Star Wars movies. We've seen the Clone Wars. You all know what I mean by that. This and yes, those projects focus on character development and character arcs. Andor is more character driven, and it's more, like I said, it's more of a drama.
Yep. Not only that, Andor eventually is gonna lead up to Rogue One as well.
And that's another thing that we know about season two is that by the end of it, it's going to completely change Rogue One.
Yep.
And
Anyways, hun.
I think it's time that the Andor fan base stops mentioning the fact that, again, it doesn't have no cameos. It doesn't feature no force powers. It's professional. Like, again, that conflict between the Jedi and the Sith is underneath the plot of the show. The Empire exists. because of the Sith.
You aren't wrong on that. It does indeed.
Saw Gerrera, the reason why he does the reason why he fights the way he fights, the way he organizes things was because if any of you have seen the Clone Wars, you would know he was taught by Anakin, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, and the 501st.
Yep.
So again, just because they're not in the show physically, you can still feel their presence. And not only that, um, this is gonna probably gonna get me into some hot water, but while I do think Andor is a amazing show, I think it is very overhyped. I think, I mean, good lord, I mean,
I mean, that's
I was
understandable to think it is overhyped.
to me, I don't think it's the best Star Wars show. I think that still goes to the Clone Wars by none.
I was just about to ask you which one you thought, and you just answered my question.
I think when it comes to Star Wars, the animated team always gets things right. Normal. They do have some blunders, like
They do.
Tales of the Empire was meh. Resistance,
Yeah.
boring. Plus, what doesn't help is at that point I was kind of done with the sequel trilogy, so that might be why I didn't
Yeah,
enjoy it.
that might be.
Um, in terms of live action, I do generally enjoy almost every single one of the live action shows that they gave us because I'm able to find stuff that I enjoy, even if I think something is bad. Like, perfect example, I think Book of Boba Fett is not that good of a show. I think they focused Boba to me didn't really do much. He was too much of a leader, which was the point of the show. I'm obviously I know that they starting from the Clone Wars, they were trying to establish that Boba isn't this cold-hearted person that you would lead him to, to believe that he is. I get that. However, to me, I'm always going to remember how he was in Legends, to where he became the ruler of Mandalore.
Yeah.
He had a family. The the Kenobi series was almost perfect. Problem is, they focused too much on Reva. People did not watch the show for her; they watched it for Obi-Wan and Vader.
Yep.
They could still have Reva be a part of it, but they should have not made her the big focus. Um, Mando season 1 and 2, perfect. Season 3 had its had its ups and downs. Now for the controversial one, the Acolyte.
Oh boy.
I enjoyed it.
I did too. Not only that, we just got finished rewatching it. Well, we're
Well,
almost
not
done. We're not finished. We're
yeah,
almost done with it.
and I still think it is a very entertaining show. I can see why people don't like it, but I mainly watch it because I'm a big fan of the Sith Lord in there, Kumar, aka the Stranger.
Yeah.
I think him and Soul is why I'm going to keep coming back to watch it. Um, you know, do I want a season two? They would have to make sure that they don't make any continuity blunders like they did with season one. I mean,
Oh yeah.
no, I know that people say that Kiadi Mooney's birth birth year was age was on that printing card. However, it does make him look like a freaking liar.
Yeah, it really does. It really does.
He made my boy Qui Gon look like a freaking liar in the Phantom Menace, and I
Yeah.
And I know, the reason why they didn't find out till much later was because of the fact that, you know, Vanessa made it to where, she covered it up. But at the same time, though, too, it's like, really, I preferred it. I definitely prefer the Legends version of that to where the Sith were being super sneaky and no one did not find out until it was too late. And that's when Palpatine fully took over.
Yeah, that one's more. Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
I think it's dumb that a Sith Lord was sloppy, known full well that they had to keep being hidden. Um, I think I misworded that. I think it was sloppy that a Sith Lord got themselves exposed.
Yeah, instead of staying hidden.
Which is the point of the rule of two. Is there anything more you want to say?
Mm. No, I mean, with you with the Acolyte season 2, I would really want one too, because there was a possibility we could have learned more about Darth Plagueis. The lies.
Here's the thing. We pretty much already have that, and that's called the the Darth Plagueis novel.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like to see more of the live action version of him.
What I think what sucks about season two is that I feel like season two really would have focused on the Sith, and I would have loved to see how Kumar
And
ends up not.
OSHA.
Well, no, 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 no. I'm very curious how Kumar screws up his training to make Plagueis decide to find someone else.
You know what? Yeah, I'm curious about that too.
Because Kumar must have tried to take him out because that's the point of the rule of two. The whole point was a master trains an apprentice, and that apprentice kills the master.
Master, and then has to find another apprentice.
Yes, and then the cycle continues.
Yep.
Um, but other than that, I do acknowledge that it is a messy show to watch. It is very
It
messy.
is.
To be honest, even I'm kind of angry that we focus too much on the twin story when I was wanting a dark side story. But other than that, I did enjoy the Acolyte for what it was. Um, but getting back to Andor, I'm looking forward to seeing these last 6 episodes. Um, they're Diego Luna was definitely right. The show does get better
Yes.
the more it continues. So yeah, if you're new here at Things VA or Victim's Cantina, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and hit that bell button, and definitely go sub to Music Rimdo here.
Hey you.
And keep things cordial. I don't mind you guys putting out something that I've said wrong, but keep things cordial.
Please.
Because I'm going to be a little bit more strict on these Star Wars videos than I am on my normal videos. So, I don't want to pull Darth Vader. But yeah, as always, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye, guys.
Bye, guys.